All right, so my name is Victor Poland. This is the other portion of the tour, and this is the active solar example. We just got done with Shauna's house in Weatherby Lake, and so this is a 100% electric house, and so I moved in December of 2020, and so the system is a 5.2 kilowatt, and that's the DC rating on it, and it's about a 4.7 AC rated system. And so there's 16 total panels arrayed, 2 arrays, and so I'm facing east right now, and so the west is right behind me. And so this system, and I'll show folks as far as the power production, it gets about 33 kilowatt hours during summertime hours, or the summertime and everything, all the way down to 0 when they get covered with snow. So anyway, that's your range on the system and all. And so they are, each panel has 1 microinverter devoted to it, so 16 panels, 16 microinverters. So that's a system. So if the system were to go down, it would only affect 1 panel. And so each panel is 325 kilowatt rated.
So the microinverters are also good because right now at this time of year you're getting a little shading on your panels, and it doesn't make your whole system shut down just because you've got that little bit of shading with the microinverters. Right, because with the arrays there's 2 J boxes, so one on this side, one on the other side, and so that would pose a problem. Yeah, definitely. And so the system was installed by Shinova Solar Company, and so they used subcontractors as far as the design of the system, and the design of the system is inside, and we can see that a little bit later on. They're bifacial panels, so there is a little bit of activity like below the power, or below the panel itself, and so it's V-Sun Solar. The V-Sun is the one that produced the panels, and so I signed a contract.
Do you know out of where? Who makes them, what country?
V-Sun was Vietnam.
Okay.
So, right. And so, like I said, I signed a contract in early February 2021. They were here in April 2021 of installing it. So all of that is inside. We can also take a look at it.
Can you repeat the question?
Do we use N-phase inverters? And I said yes. The microinverters, yes. So anyway, right. So that's why I get the N-phase reports, and so I have the N-phase app on my phone, and so it updates like 4 times a day, and so I'm able to see how the sun is helping and all. And so today's, if it stays like this, I'll probably get, being that we're already in October, we'll probably get about 13 to 14 kilowatt hours today with no clouds and all. So, and that's typical for this time of the year. So anyway.
Does it take a long time for the, if we get a bright sunny day after a sunshine, it melts the snow and it goes off pretty quickly, does it?
It will.
Yeah.
It will.
Okay.
But
because they're dark colored, and so it doesn't stay on as long.
Right. Or I'll just get my pole and everything, and I'll knock him off.
Slide him down so you get some solar,
It's safer to approach the roof from this side than it is the other side. So I'll probably go out there and clean off 1 array's worth and then call it good. Well,
that was smart that you used the microinverters, though. It was really smart to do that,
Right.
Because you don't want to cut those trees.
Right.
It helps shade. It helps shade your house in the summertime. So.
All right. So this is the east and all, and so the sun angles in the summertime, the sun will come up over there, and so I get max exposure, because this tree won't even affect it by the point in the summertime when it's up, it's not affecting it and all. And so
you get excellent sun in the summer.
Right. And then right now we're a little bit past the equinox position, so it's right about here right now. And so the oak will affect it a little bit, as it's coming up around. And then of course at winter it's going to come up like there, and I'm going to get
a little more actually.
Yeah.
When the winter you'll get a little more on a sunny day. Yeah.
And then as far as house orientation, like I said, this is a 650 square foot house, and so I've got 2 windows on this side. Then I have the east window right here. So there's windows on every side of the house, and so it's as good as it's going to get. And then I have a south-facing driveway, so I don't usually have problems with getting out of here in the wintertime either.
Well, plus it's very level, so that's good.
Yes.
was the roof when you put the panels on? Does that make any difference?
I guess the earlier or the sooner that you can have it built, the better. Or as far as replaced and all. These were replaced about 4 years, or the roof was replaced about 4 years ago. So the previous owner didn't take it as far when it came to obviously the solar system and all, but he did put in the new windows and the new doors, and he also put in the heat pump, which you'll see.
You'll see on
here
the
in a little.
inside, yeah.
You
So-
have an air source heat pump?
That's just air to air, right? A simple Daikin, which you'll see here in a minute because the unit itself is in the courtyard.
Okay.
So
Mini split. It's a mini split
Yeah.
system, yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, we
So-
wanted to have this home on the tour because it's a smaller footprint home.
Right.
And you can see that, the things that he's done are going to have a bigger impact with a smaller footprint. So he's going to use a lot less electricity to begin with.
Right.
So he can do with fewer solar panels and provide more of his electricity, yeah.
Right. Right. So I have a chart in there which will show like I've since install when because in May of last year was when the net meter was installed, and so Evergy provides the net meter for you, and then they also are part of the approval process for it. So I also qualified for a $1,300 rebate through Evergy, in addition to the 26% that the federal government gave, which that was in effect last year also.
Is that in Missouri only?
Right, for Evergy?
For
I think it
Evergy.
is, right, right,
But for the federal is still in effect.
Federal, right.
Yeah.
Federal, but
right. And then the solar tube that you see up there, the solar tube also qualified as long as you had a night light installed, and so there's a simple battery that powers a night light and all. And so that qualified also for the 26%.
Do you know what a solar tube is?
I remember looking at them like 12, 10 or
Yeah.
12 years
Yeah,
ago.
and you'll see it,
Yeah.
it's inside of my bedroom, and so provides a lot of light. And this is
provides
a
a
good,
lot of light.
this is a good day. You'll see, it just like brightens up the entire room. So,
So your meter, you said it's a net meter. Is it true
Yes.
net metering? So they
I think-
give you
No.
kilowatt
Yes.
per kilowatt both
No,
ways?
they do not. I mean,
Oh,
they
oh.
do it, but they don't credit you for excess protection or
right.
anything like that.
You sign a net meter agreement with them, and in the net meter agreement, right currently, it's 2.2 cents a kilowatt hour
Yeah.
that they
Okay.
buy it from you. So they buy it from you as a retail rate.
Yeah.
Or
At
wholesale,
the
I'm sorry,
wholesale rate.
wholesale rate. They buy it as a wholesale rate
yeah,
from
and
you.
then sell it back to you at retail.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
right.
up to monthly.
Yeah.
But anything that you use during the month, it reduces the amount that you have to buy from the
Right.
company.
Right,
Exactly.
right.
And on my chart, I'll hand it to you so you'll see how the production is.
So it doesn't behoove you actually to install more solar than what you would average
Right.
reuse, because you're not going to get very much for sending it back to KCP&L or Evergy unless you really want to.
Right.
You can send it back to them at the goodness of your heart, but you're not going to get much credit for it.
Right. Yeah.
I must have a
George,
good heart.
you have a
Yeah.
good heart. You're sending back them plenty of energy. Yes, that's right. And a lot of people do. I know a lot of people that like do big systems. I talk to them. I advise them. I said, you want to have this size so that it matches your electric use and that you're not producing a lot more than what you would need. And I have several people that say, well, I just want to cover this roof with solar panels, and I don't care if I'm sending it back, to Evergy. So it's all right either way. But
Which in
if
the
you're
long run society needs.
Yes.
But
Right.
that's not valued in the marketplace
Right.
at this point.
Right now.
And if you're on a budget and you're trying to just produce the amount of power that you're going to need, you want to have it carefully sized to your utility use. Yeah,
I just need to buy an electric car to use more.
that's right.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's right.
So do you get the ratings report from Evergy on how well your house performs every couple of months?
I haven't been asking for that for them because I think I already know.
They-
Yeah.
Okay, they send me mine automatically.
Right.
Yeah.
I can sign up for it, but
Yeah, you can sign up for it, or they send it to you by email sometimes. I
Yeah.
think. Yeah. So mine was sitting on the steps. My last
really?
one that I just got, and I was 48% better than most of my neighbors
Yeah.
in electric use
Right.
last month.
I had a
But-
home in Lee Summit at one point that was just like that, where they were sending me the reports, and that's
Yeah.
what I was using. It wasn't a active or a passive solar system at the time, but
Right.
it was one of those where it's just like, well, if I replace this unit, and based on the amount of you know, energy it uses, based on the amount of square footage and the 5 folks that were living in it and everything, it should have showed that I was doing better, and I was.
Yeah.
You know, based on the demand side management practices that we were instituting inside the home. So.
The reason I'm bringing that partly is that they've put the smart meters on almost every house,
Yeah.
and they know, like, your daytime production of how much you might need. They don't give that to you, but in theory you can ask for it if you really wanted to know how to size your system for peak needs or something like that.
I see. Yeah.
Good.
But-
And Evergy still has some programs going on for like heat pumps, buying new
Right.
efficient heat pumps, things like that. They do.
Kansas?
So we want to go to the other side to see, you know, how it's connected.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. And so this is the west side of the house, and so that's the other array. You know, the low one is just my spectrum input and everything, and so Evergy's feed is from the top. And as you can see, it goes into the weatherhead over here, and then this is the net meter from Evergy. And so the power goes in, and we'll see that here in a minute, to the panel boards inside and all. And so this is the power source coming from the house down into the combiner box, or what they call the Envoy. And then this is Evergy shut off, to, you know, because I'd like to be able to use it, you know, in the times of a power outage and all, but they're going to have a say when they have to come in and replace the transformers, anything else that's down and out during our storms and everything, and so they will shut me off in order to do that work. So,
Yeah.
but that's for them, for the
This AC into this box
Yeah,
because they have the
this is-
microinverter on.
right. The AC, everything's being converted up there, and so by the time it gets down here, it's usable
Yeah.
power.
Cool.
And as you can see, both power feeds go in there.
Oh, does
So-
the panels feed into the top and then into your attic space? Or what?
Yeah, they go into the attic space. So they have 2 main J boxes, so 1 J box per array, and so they combine in there, because I was there while the electrician was making those connections, and so I was actually helping him. He needed a little bit of assistance while I was up there, and so
Great.
he made the connection and was able to pull it out over there, and so
Is that just a vent
Anyway.
pipe for your sink?
yeah, that's
There?
just
Okay.
a event.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
That's not
could probably.
your radon.
No.
No, I don't have.
He has,
one.
his kitchen is right behind there, and that's a
Right.
kitchen sink right there. So
Right.
that's why I
Right.
guessed it was for that.
Right. So, and then there's an extra feed that goes, you know, underground. I think the previous owner had a hot tub, so
Oh, right, yeah, I see it.
yeah. So yeah, that was where his termination was. Yeah. So it kind of looks like there was something coming from outside underground, but that's not the
It's
case.
just an outside circuit.
Right. That's all it is. Yeah. So that's what the west side looks like.
Okay.
That's
So-
just a solar light on the tree.
Yeah, that's just the ring camera.
Oh, that's.
Yeah, that provides
So he can keep track of people.
visibility on the place.
So that's what you were checking on your phone.
Yeah.
Yes.
When he saw that.
System
Right.
Was
That.
phoning you who was coming
Who is
up.
coming?
And that was the guy that I sent the address to.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
He was. I told him to go ahead and. I'm sorry we missed him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he can
So-
go watch the video.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
can. I'll tell him.
Well, it's easy to get lost up there.
Yeah, it is. I know.
Yeah.
You don't have burglars come up because they get lost and starve.
Well, I don't
Yeah.
at my house. Anyway.
hmm
All
So we
right.
can go downstairs.
Yeah, show us
and
the stuff in the
see-
basement.
Insulated your floors.
Yes. Okay. And so the house was built. The original house was built in 1942, and then there was an expansion, I think, in the early 80s. And so that's why this is a partial basement. So you have your crawl space for the original farmhouse that was built in 42, and then we have a basement portion for the other section. So the 2 bedrooms and the bathroom are on this expansion. So talked about what the times were like back in the early 40s, because you didn't need it, and there was still, you know, outhouses being used and all. And so anyway, so since then the house has expanded, but it's still, you know, a 648 square foot net house and all. And so the two panels are right here, and so the power feed, the solar power feed's right here, and then the Evergy feed is right there. And so this is just a sub panel and all. And so I did have a shielded EMP installed for the system. So back charges, as far as electric, lightning and everything wouldn't throw.
Surge protector?
Yeah, it is a surge protection and all. And so yeah, these were the two surge protectors that was installed right there.
You installed it separate, or did you have Evergy do
I actually had
in their
I had
program?
it was something that I chose to do, and it was something that I just actually paid Shinova Solar to come back out and do, because I was just more concerned, with a lightning strike, I could be able to protect, the interior, components and everything. So but that was it.
So look at the energy use of his hot water tank compared to mine.
Yeah.
Mine was 167, something like that. Mine was 167 a year. His was 508 a year.
Right.
So that's the difference.
Right. And that's about 11-year-old tank. So and this is a 100% electric house, so that's completely electric.
And that's probably pulling a lot of your usage.
It is.
Yeah.
And you can see, on the it's about 3 times a day it'll come on. And so it behooves me to go ahead and just keep the hot water the way I want it, as far as for my showers and for what I'm doing. And so that's what satisfies me. And so I don't have it at necessarily right at 120. It's a little bit lower.
So from operations, since you're retired now, it's best to use your hot water during the day when your PV can help offset the cost.
Yeah.
Rather than at night or...
Yeah. But then I'm not able to choose when it comes on, though, and so it's just going to come on when it goes down below a certain set point.
Well,
so I don't have a...
You could have a timer on it. You can install a timer.
Oh, really?
Have you seen... Do I still have my timer?
Well, that would be great.
If I can find my timer, I'll send it over to you and you can install it.
Oh, all right.
You can set the times that it wants to come on and off.
Right. That'd be great.
Oh,
question.
Yeah.
Now, you're not on demand here, are you? So you produce electricity during the day.
Yes.
And if you use it at night, the sun that you produce is subtracted from the sun that you take in. And,
right.
Yeah.
And if you produce more than you use, then...
Yep.
You're selling it back to them cheap,
right.
But.
And the chart upstairs will show you and all. So it's based on what Dave was saying. I think it's Dave, right?
Yes.
Yeah. What he was saying as far as it's based on a monthly system, and so it'll just calculate what I imported versus what was exported, and it just does a simple calculation at that point. And then I think it's $11.47 for the
connection fee.
For the right to be able to connect to their system and to use their meter. So that's what it all pays, and so that's what for most part I'm exporting more for 7 months out of the system, and I'm importing more for the 5 months.
5 months, yeah.
So
talk to them about the that program that you did with them called PAYS.
PAYS.
P-A-Y-S.
Yes.
It's with Evergy, right?
Evergy has a PAYS, and that's PACE. PACE is the Missouri Department of Natural Resources program. PAYS is one where they will actually come in and actually do a blower door test. And
that's Evergy, yeah.
And Evergy offers it. And they'll also go through some other things as far as, water usage. They'll install low flow shower heads. They'll install aerators on your system. And so they'll look at everything that could potentially save you and all. Now they came into my house and they noticed, it's like, well, we really can't suggest a whole lot more because this is a project that I did. I insulated all that. This was already installed. And then they determined that they really can't get in there to do anything, and so I was like, yeah, I understand.
You could actually, could get in there.
But you have to be skinny.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why, and there's no insulation up underneath.
There isn't.
Underneath that floor, so that is an uninsulated.
Better place to get into your crawl space.
No, it's all sealed, so it's block construction.
But they could take out a little bit more of the next block or something, and so they could make it bigger so you get a hose in there to do the spray foaming.
Yeah, they could. Now, when I had a Shinova come back, because part of their project, whenever they gave me the shielded EMP, was to give me another receptacle, a 120 volt receptacle. I wanted an additional one in the courtyard, just in case I wanted to do other stuff. And so they did something. They must have had some kind of a pole. So that's their that's their feed right there. They had some kind of a pole and they went.
Pushed
They were able to
it across,
drill.
yeah.
But they had 2 persons, so they had somebody on the outside and
So they
somebody
could drill
inside.
through
They
from
could
the
do.
outside and then just capture.
Right.
And hold it
That's
back.
how they did it.
Yeah.
It was a 2-person job and all, but I certainly wouldn't want to go in there and try to do anything else on my own. I'm just not skinny enough.
It is pretty thin in there.
Yeah, it is.
I got
So-
claustrophobic just looking.
Yeah.
That PACE program
Yes.
through
Evergy.
That's just something do they offer that in Kansas too? Do you
I think
know?
so. It's a region wide. So you can just call and then they do it. That's from what I understand.
Do they charge you anything for it?
It's a free
Free
service.
program, yeah.
Huh,
through
And they
pay.
give you recommendations.
They did, you know.
And
And
they-
for my system and everything, they couldn't recommend much because, as you'll see when
But-
we go
but you know.
upstairs, yeah,
You know.
Right.
I mean, that's.
Yeah.
Like giving you a sealed gear,
yeah,
Your
Yeah,
gold
good
star.
work.
yeah. It's just like you're doing great and everything. We can't do anything more for you, but you know, we'll give you 2 thumbs up, and here's a low flow shower head, and
So
you know,
they
and
give
here's
you
a
report then.
yeah, they do. I'll actually show you the report.
So
when it
tell them
comes
what
up
they
there.
did about the blower door test. Tell
Okay,
'em what
well, I
happened.
mean, it'd be good. I'll demonstrate it upstairs and everything, you know, why and everything. But the way the ceiling is, they were afraid they were going to pull down tiles.
Oh.
They were afraid.
That's how much
so-
it pressurizes your house.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and the previous owner, he put some really good doors on, really good windows and everything. And so I wouldn't have put it past that blower door probably would have started pulling other things out because it's pretty well
I
sealed in
wouldn't
there.
think if it was regular sheetrock that it would pull down, but you're saying you're sealing something else.
Yeah,
It-
we'll see
you'll
here in
see.
a minute.
Tiles.
Yeah, there's just
We'll
tiles.
we'll
out
see
there.
here in a minute
Okay,
once we're done down here.
bolts
All
or
right.
whatever.
So anyway,
If it's a suspended ceiling, you just lift and turn
Yeah.
it so that you
yeah.
don't have that pressure, and then
Yeah.
you can run your door.
Well, but then it'd be pulling stuff from the attic, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, it'd be
If there's no
full.
if there's no drywall under
it's
it.
not a suspended. It's a-
Yeah, it's not
Right.
suspended.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'll see here in a
Like
minute.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Got one of
So-
those ceilings too.
Anyway,
Yeah, no, you can't do.
All right. Yeah. That's
you can't
what.
lift and turn that.
No.
no.
So, any other questions?
Yeah.
No. Okay.
Okay, yeah, well, we'll go not from this
No,
direction.
not.
Okay, so from a continuation to some of the questions and all, the reason why Evergy decided not to do the full evaluation was they were afraid that they were going to pull down these tiles and all. So anyway, so that was a decision they made, but they still went through, they still gave me a power strip for the television, and they still gave me a low flow shower head. But that was it because they couldn't figure out anything else that they could really do for me. And
So
so,
what's the thing on the TV?
it's a power. It
Right there.
basically it's just a power strip.
It
It's,
cuts the phantom load. The
Right.
Continuous.
So it's based on the television. If I turn the television on, then what it'll do is it'll turn on all the ancillaries. So I have a Fire TV stick and then the DVD player, and so those are all off right now because the television is not on. But as soon as I turn the television on, this thing will actually, I'll hear a little click because it's part of what they call a slave and master system.
oh,
And so, you know, the master is the television. And so if I turn the television on, then all of the slaves actually turn on after that.
Really?
So it just helps to save.
I didn't know there was something like that. That was
Right.
cool.
So yeah, that's a specific one that Evergy gave me.
and it's free from Evergy?
Free if you signed up from the pay system. So
Okay.
because they'll go through and they'll look at other things within the house, and so he tried to replace the
Try that. That'd take one.
the aerator, but he couldn't find a part. You know, they give him like a box of stuff, and then he goes through the box, and if he can replace it, he will. If he doesn't, then he'll walk
Done,
on.
yeah.
You know? So they did what they could, but unfortunately, this didn't help
Yeah.
the system. They were afraid of it.
Oh,
I-
don't- yeah.
Yeah, and so this was the original farmhouse, and so this is how they heated it. What I suspected, if he was actually going to go through with the blower door test, was that I was probably going to get some leaks from and that it was probably pulling on, and it could have been pulling out from
Yeah.
underneath, but this is where the crawl space was, and so anyway, I would have liked to have known. I really, really wanted to know, but they said no
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It looks like. Well, Charlotte was looking at the crack between the brick and
Yeah.
the. You might caulk that.
Yeah, I
That
probably
might be
could.
helpful.
Right,
And what is that?
and that's the heat pump.
That's
So
a mini
this is a
split.
Daikin system.
It's called a mini split system.
Right. Ductless mini split.
Ductless
and all.
mini, so it doesn't need any duct work.
And so this is the thermostat for it. And so it provides cooling for the entire house. And it provides during the coldest parts of the winter and everything, it will provide heating for just this space. And so going back into the whole demand side management strategies that I employ as a single guy living in a 650 square foot house, my demand side management during the coldest parts of winter is to do this.
Close the door. Yeah.
And then the heat is provided
Stays
just for
in
this
here, yeah.
space and all.
And it has an outside unit. He'll show you the outside unit,
Right.
unit to go to that. It's
And
if you've traveled at all in Europe, they use them a lot in Europe.
Right.
Every
They
place.
look familiar,
Yeah.
yeah. And so then for the coldest parts
Many
of winter,
hotels and motels
Right.
use the same
use
system.
something like that.
Oh, yeah, they,
And so for the
You
coldest
turn it
parts
on.
of the winter, I have the electric baseboards.
Okay.
So that's what provides for
Keeps
the
you from
remainder.
freezing to death.
Right. If there's any guests and everything, and so they can, and there's another one on the other side of the bed there.
Where's your light tube?
Light
Solar
tubes
tube.
right here.
Solar tube. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, okay. There it is.
She wants to see that. Yeah.
Right here. And so there's a solar night light in there. So it's charging a battery right now, and then at night there's a kind of a small amount of light in here, and so that's for guests because this is the only bathroom. So the guests can come through and they'll be able to see and
okay.
utilize it. So
Nice.
anyway, so
Feel free, huh?
yeah. So like I said, 2 electric heaters in those spaces and everything. So that's just for the very, very coldest part. This Daikin unit will basically, when it gets down to like 5 degrees or lower, it'll pack its bags and leave. It will say, you are on your own.
At 5 degrees, it just shuts down.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've tried,
Yeah.
to,
And it won't.
and like I said, it's just for those portions of the winter, which we all know will get there. It's just not
Oh
going
yeah, we
to
have
do that. And so I have a 1.5 kilowatt electric heater that I plug in. It's the one that I keep downstairs during winter months, so to make sure that the heat downstairs, so it doesn't freeze the pipes.
freeze pipes
Sure.
or something. So it's
So-
just stuff you're dealing with
so-
in an old house.
Yeah. Or the other way to do it is I would just heat in reverse. I could just keep these open and I would turn on the electric over there, and so the electric could come in here.
But if
So
you
I
lose
have a
power,
couple.
you're
I'm calling a friend at that point. I'm phoning a friend.
Going to
It's
going
like
to.
I need to go somewhere else.
Yeah, that's
And,
right.
Cutting off your water and
Yeah, I'm leaving.
great insight.
Well, we do get some of those days, don't we?
So-
Just a few.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
What?
That's why I have my wood stove.
Well, but
Yeah.
usually the ice storms happen in and around freezing, so we rarely get super cold when we get the ice storms.
Right.
Out the
Yeah.
It's
power.
it's maybe what 2 or 3% of the time, and most of the time you're going to be in bed when that's going on, and so the house is already going to be warm before you go. And the good thing with that thermostat is I can program it, and so based on how cold it is, I usually get up around 6, 7 o'clock. So I have that thing programmed around 5 o'clock to come on, and so it's already heating the space by the time that I get up. And so
Oh yes,
anyway,
yeah.
and so it'll drift in here at night down a little bit, and then I have a a thermometer on the refrigerator that'll tell me what's going on, and so it helps me with the management of my own system and stuff.
In theory, you could put a wood stove in.
Yeah, yeah, in theory. I'm not. I love the 100% electric idea, and so
Yeah.
that's what we are.
You
And so
don't have to go shopping.
These are what the. I have a couple more of those, and so that's just a little demonstration of what the.
Yeah, how many kilowatt
uh,
hours he's producing?
Right. And so this is what This is
Yes,
what I
and
produce
use-
on. This is what I produce on site.
Okay.
This is what. Wait, no, on-site production. This is what I'm
Right,
producing.
producing
And
This is
what
what
you're
I'm
using.
importing. This is what I'm
Oh, you're
importing.
importing.
And then
at night.
over
okay.
there, that
Like
shows that
exporting.
I'm actually exporting more power
So
out.
January
to-
was your low production month.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. It was also a month that I took a 10-day
Mm-hmm.
trip out of
Oh,
out of here, and so I had that was what I would call, the $100 was my insurance policy, so I had the 1.5 kilowatt going on the whole time I was gone.
Yeah.
So normally a person like myself is going to have better demand side management practices, and I'm going to manage that better, but I couldn't.
You couldn't.
But then I didn't want to.
You didn't want to come back to frozen pipes.
Right.
That's
Right.
amazing.
Right.
Yeah. See?
Those
Yeah.
dollars.
Right.
Wow.
It's great, isn't
It
it?
was
It
warmer
is.
in Hawaii that day.
I'm sure
I don't
it
want to
was.
be.
You were suffering terribly.
I know,
in Hawaii
just like-
in January.
I know.
Okay, I got it.
So.
That sounds like a good plan for every year, right?
Yeah, no, get out of here. But no, those are literally what my bills are. So,
That is amazing.
so 645 square foot, one person occupying, based on how. And I put in, when I came in December, I blew more insulation. My son and I blew in, so it was down below the joist level, and we blew it up to about 6 or 8 inches up above. So I did that, just myself and my son, knowing that I was coming in with a solar system later.
Yeah.
So you lose more heat
Going
up,
up, yeah.
out, and everything. And so unfortunately I can't really do much with the insulation the way it is on the exterior walls. It's
Yeah.
I would have to tear down a
Yep.
lot. And
Drill holes and stuff.
it's going to be, and I thought, well, maybe while I was up there and I was blowing insulation, and I thought maybe I could get, that little space. Maybe there was a space that I could see. It was covered by a 2x4 all the way around, and I couldn't do it. So I had an opportunity when I was in there, but I couldn't find a way to
Yeah.
make it work.
But
So.
if by chance at some point you replace or do something with the outside siding, you could add an insulation board
Probably,
and
right.
the new siding or something.
And the
like
siding's new. The previous owner did all that. So
So yeah,
Oh,
he
so
just
you're
he,
unlikely to
yeah,
need
he just
that.
didn't know what you were needed to do.
Right.
Yeah, he didn't follow your
Yeah.
plan there.
right. But no, that's literally what Evergy's bills are.
That's
And that's
cool.
why during those months that I overproduced, they were less than 1147 because that's their baseline,
Oh,
and it
That's
just
their
pays it just
customer
pays it
access
down,
charge.
Yeah.
right?
So when you were looking for a home to purchase, you bought this one with the intent of putting the solar
I
panels
did,
on it.
yeah.
Mhm.
And I give a lot of thanks to the previous owner because he was the one that put in the Daikin. He was the one that put in they're pretty good sealed windows and the doors and everything. So he kind of took it halfway, and then I took it
A little
the rest
further.
of the way with
Yeah.
the solar and putting in the more insulation and all. So,
And see,
Very impressive.
yeah.
Yeah.
Then we can look at the condensing unit outside if you wanted to look.
Okay.
So, Ken, you ready? Okay. All right. 100% electric. Nothing is connected here. It's piped for it, but I don't intend to ever connect that again.
you don't pay a gas
Yeah,
bill at all.
nothing.
Right. Yeah.
So the power is 100% electric. So that's literally what my bill is.
So instead of
winter
getting
time.
the 11% gas hike and
Yeah.
the 11% electric hike that's coming from Missouri residents,
Right.
you don't. You
I'm
only get
I'm
one.
insulated from it.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
this is the ductless mini split. Like I said, the previous owner put this in. It was a Daikin. So you can see everything. The condensate lines, the refrigerant lines, all go in. So it's an air to air. So not a ground source heat pump. And so disconnect switch per code. And so
But this is why they use them in Europe so much, is
Yeah.
because they've got all those really ancient buildings in
Yeah.
Europe, and no ductwork was ever installed, and so
Right.
no ductwork is available, and yet they can do this and have very little
Right.
ductwork and still sort of heat their rooms and stuff. So
all right.
it's really great.
And as I had said, as we were between things, I capture as much rainwater as possible, and I use it in the garden. So.
Yeah.
Do you have a
So-
pump? Is that a pump?
Yes, that's a submersible, because this is the one that's the farthest away from the garden, and so I just need a little bit of a boost from the.
Now,
Does
you
this
Rain
give
barrel
you
install this
a-
yourself?
I did.
So where'd you get
Mosquito
the water
control?
containers at? Or
What?
those?
What's that?
Where'd you get them? Where'd you buy 'em?
Oh, Bridging the Gap.
Oh,
Bridging
really?
the Gap has a
Excellent.
program,
Okay.
and so I purchased it from them. That one was from basically like an estate sale. So there was an extra one that I was able to pick up just this year.
Well, I mean,
So-
some places have what they call food grade, which is usually
Right.
the blue that you that they get rid of, a supply place.
And Bridging the Gap used to distribute those all the time.
Right.
But this is a different design.
This is
it's cool.
they got
It's up
something.
there.
Whenever if you go to one of their actually if you go to their Doramus one, they keep all of these over at their
Do they?
Doramus facility.
Oh, okay, cool.
And you can buy one from Thomas there.
So
I've
that-
got a water barrel fountain, so
Yeah.
you plug it in and the water comes up.
Right.
And I got a rebate for it in Lee.
Oh,
because
nice.
They were wanting to, not the full thing, but something.
Oh, that's great, though.
Yeah.
Did more people take advantage of it, do you think?
Probably not.
Probably not.
It's probably
I think I'm the only
stormwater
one-
mitigation.
Only one in the neighborhood that
Oh.
has one. And,
really?
They
Yeah.
still offer that?
Probably.
I'm going to tell my sister about it. Tell her to go
Yeah.
get one.
Yeah. I think
What's it
people
called?
Don't know about it.
Yeah,
It's just-
probably not.
Many of the cities in
barrel
Johnson
rebates.
County do it. They do it through the stormwater tax, and each city cooperate. Most of the cities cooperate.
Was it called a fountain rain barrel, or what is it?
Oh,
Just called-
I bought it, like through Amazon or Wayfair or something. It was a water barrel fountain.
Oh, okay, so and then they just gave you a rebate for it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Just show them the receipt or copy of the receipt.
Right. You had a question about this, so this is just an insect screen.
Yes.
So yeah.
You don't get
So,
stuff down there.
Yeah, I don't want
Yeah.
those mosquitoes
Yeah.
making breeding and stuff and
Yeah. I
coming
have,
back out
And
of
that
it.
helps keep your pump from fouling up too.
Right. Right.
Yeah. I put mosquito net on the
Yeah.
top of mine.
The way it's designed, it has a
Oh, yeah.
catch basin, and so the water comes in down that way, and so that way, if it's going to catch any more, some of it's
yeah.
going to stay in
more,
there,
yeah.
and then the rest of it's going to be usable in the garden.
That's a good idea.
And I
So-
have something that will go down here, and then I also have it where I can, take
Diverter
that
valve.
off and
Right.
it comes back down
Right.
because it fills up really fast.
Oh, it does.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then this is the overflow.
Yeah.
So it'll go out the originally designed
Yeah.
system, and so I winterize it. So once we get
Yes.
winter and all this component's going to come off, and I'm
Yeah.
going to set it back up
Yep.
to the
Yeah.
winter mode.
Because we want it to be empty in the
Right.
winter.
Yeah.
You
Right.
do that in November.
I have a diverter too.
Yeah,
I
basically,
forgot to tell you about
I'm
mine. I have
growing.
two rain
I mean,
barrels on
I
the
can
backside
still
of my
get
house. Yeah,
blackberries even
Yeah.
in November.
they do fill up really fast.
But usually
Yeah.
once
They do.
I get 2 or 3 days in a row of freezing temperatures, I said that's it.
Yeah,
Take
I
it
have
in.
to empty mine too.
Right.
I do it before the freeze.
I put I'm trying to grow another tree over here. That's my replacement tree when that one actually finally goes.
Yeah, when it finally
That's
goes,
a
it's pretty
swamp.
far gone.
That's a swamp white oak, and yes, I do put the
It's a deer.
deer did that. That was a red oak or a red bud, and I actually had taken it off because I wanted to see, what it looked like, and that meant to the deer that the salad bar was back open again. And so I had one night,
One night,
and
I know,
I
they-
had to go and I had to put it back.
I know.
And so
They can decimate things in one
There.
night.
yeah,
Wow.
so yeah, I do have to protect it. Yeah, and I'm trying to grow 2 maples on that side right now, and it's the same kind of system. I just gotta
Yeah.
So how did you? I'm fascinated by how you would have known this house was here. You
Yeah.
know, like you must have done a lot of research.
Did
yeah.
you
I
use a
had
real estate agent
A real
to-
estate agent.
to help you?
So yeah.
You told them what you were looking for.
Now,
and-
were they one that specialized in green stuff? or-
No, he
Okay.
wasn't.
They just
he was.
attended it to your request.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He was a veteran. I was a veteran. I just wanted,
Okay.
some vets help, and he lived in the Northland, so I wanted to be able to stay up here, and so
I have found most realtors are clueless
yeah,
and next to useless or worse.
right,
In
yeah,
terms of green energy.
And
yeah,
Yeah.
they just don't know. They don't know about it.
right,
And if they don't know, then they downplay it or they discount it severely
Yeah.
instead of.
right,
And the same thing goes with bankers, appraisers. You have to ask for
Right.
appraisers that are educated about energy efficiency things. And
Right.
so if and when I go to sell my house, I will definitely be looking for an appraiser that has been schooled in energy. And I will
Right.
I will take him through that same
Yeah.
course at my house.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I said, you better.
Right.
Yeah.
The
Gotta
good
do
news
that
is
all in.
Okay, yeah. Let me open up.
the good news is
Just
nationally
let it-
they're working on
Yeah,
that
it's
issue.
Just let HRES know that
Good to
you're
meet
ready
you,
to sell
George.
and you'll
Yeah,
find a
I'd like
buyer
to see
immediately.
your.
I think I
place.
will. Yeah, probably.
I mean, I know
will.
that they did a video of yours, and so that was great. So
Yeah, I could
thank
do. I
you.
just for sale by
okay,
owner.
yeah.
I'll just advertise it to HRES. Yeah.
Thanks.
What do you have in the middle?
Oh, that new, it was 3,000.
3,000.
Yeah,
Okay,
it
that's not
wasn't.
too bad.
There you go, George.
So, if you want me- yeah, so part of being 100% electric is I have a Cub Cadet CC30E. So I charge this up in the back here. So this is a lithium ion battery. And so it can charge this off of a basic 120 volt system. So I don't need an extra, like a specialized charger and all. And so it's a 30-inch deck, and so it's perfect for a 3/4 acre lot. I can mow it in one mowing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I was gonna say I should say that about mine too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have very much to mow, but my battery lasts for an hour.
Yeah.
So it will last easily for an hour. So
Even with all the obstacles that I have in the yard, I can still, and see, that's a sloping yard and all, and so sometimes I'm coming up, I'm having to come up, and so it has enough in the tank that it can